really thank you for your time and that we are just having this conversation. I was thinking about it a couple of times already, and then last time when we had our conversation with the group, I thought, yeah, let's reach out. And no timeline or agenda or anything like that, but I'm also curious maybe to hear your story, how it went pre and post realization. If you maybe would feel like sharing a bit about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to maybe recount the whole thing. I talk about a lot of it in my conversation with David. I had, I first kind of had realization in 2019, and then I would say I was really in effortless and personal being for several months, and I experienced like a massive amount of transformation. Like it really changed my life in like a huge amount of ways. And then I kind of fell into that trap that every spiritual seeker falls into, where I kind of started to subtly lose track of it. And then I started to get more into the seeking mode. And then I kind of had a period of like 5 years where I was like getting into manifesting, getting into different healing things, watching all the non-duality people and everything. And I mean, there were some benefits to that, but it was definitely kind of towards the direction of contraction. But then the real game changer for me was finding David. Once I found David, that was like what uh, really like opened everything up for me. And that was probably, I think my conversation with him was uh, a bit over a year ago. So I probably found him maybe like a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
But since then, it's been really, really good. Like since then, I feel like I've really like gotten clear on a lot, and my whole life is like really kind of just like taking off in ways that I never would have expected it to. Like I moved back in with like my great grandma, which to the personal of Zane would have kind of been like, oh, like you're moving back in with your grandma. Like that doesn't sound like a very expansive thing, but it's really been amazing. It's been so good. I'm like having a blast with her. And I see that it's like really the greatest opportunity. Like there's nothing I would rather be doing than like being with her and like hanging out with her, and
Wow.
just being with my family. And like yeah, like I've really had a lot of kind of like resolution and just progress. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's cool. And yeah, I think David really helped me with kind of like the self-referral thing. Like I find that most of the other teachers, they kind of subtly encourage you to cut off your own self-referral, but that's been the biggest thing. It's kind of just like learning to like trust myself and like follow my own intuition and my own inspiration. And that was a big progression that I've had in the past year too, because I was also, I think all of us that love David so much, we kind of get in this subtle trap where we start to outsource our sovereignty to David. We start to cling on to like every single word David says. Like, oh, David says that you shouldn't meditate, or David says that you shouldn't do
Mhm.
this, or you shouldn't do that. And David really doesn't say that you shouldn't do
No,
anything. He
no.
just shares his perspectives. But
Yeah.
the lower mind loves to grab a hold of things.
Yeah.
Um, so like one example that would play out for me with that would be like with like starting a YouTube channel. Like my lower mind would always be like, well, David says that when you're really there, everything would just come to you. So I would kind of get in this mode of like, okay, I'll just go for walks and sit in my room. And then maybe one day conscious TV will call me and then I'll just become like a spiritual teacher or something. Like it's very easy to start adding all sorts of attachments to
Mhm.
David or like to any sort of spiritual teacher, and it seems like the right thing to do, but really it's a hijacking because really we're outsourcing our sovereignty and we're outsourcing our power, and when we do that, it cuts us off from our own inspiration and our own intuition. And the thing is, like David can't tell you what's best for you. Like only you have access to that, and that's following that. And like that's like for me with my YouTube channel, it's like I had been wanting to do that for years. I've been wanting to do that for so long, but it's so funny. Like even all the power I would get from David, the lower mind would still find ways to use that as a hijack into getting me to disempower myself by saying like, oh no, David says it should be this way, so
Totally.
you shouldn't do this or yada yada. But it's so funny because when you really listen to David, his number one thing is sovereignty and is like following your own intuition and inspiration. But the lower mind is so cunning and elusive in the way that it kind of builds these webs of like
Yeah,
personalization, like basically like clinging to various attachments and clinging to various ways of saying like this is how it needs to be, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But then you can feel it right away with a small contraction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When that happens, like I don't. Sometimes I had a thought about the vegetarian, yes, no, all of that, and then oh, but David said he doesn't eat anything with a heartbeat, and
Yeah.
immediately you feel this contraction, this
Yeah.
because you're just going into something like things should be different, it's not right, or
Exactly. But it's we're
yeah,
it is like David says, we're so conditioned towards contraction and towards the more gross things that sometimes we contraction can almost sometimes feel more familiar than expansion. And also, I think as you do refine on subtler and subtler levels, the contractions even become so subtle that they're very subtle. It's almost it doesn't necessarily feel like a contraction.
mhm,
Sometimes we'll have been spinning a web of contraction for days or weeks before we even really fully notice that like that attachment or that kind of like conceptualization, like personalization had been forming. And because I find the thing is with the contractions or the kind of like negative reaction patterns, we do get a payoff from them. Like a lot of times it actually feels good in the moment to like cling to David or something, because what happens is you're kind of like outsourcing your safety or your sovereignty onto that attachment. And it feels good in the moment because it's like conditionally safe. Like the body rings out of safety and you kind of get that like it feels good in the moment. But the problem is that it doesn't lead to real transformation, and it keeps you on that like wheel of samsara. It keeps you on like a reactive, like contractive loop rather than yeah, just staying in alignment with like your infinite nature. And from there, that's where you have access again to your intuition and your inspiration. And that's
yes,
when you follow what feels right to you. Um, and that's like the best thing you can do. But it's not like the you that's based on fear and lack and like reactivity, but it's the higher you, like the infinite you, like that essence.
yes, exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes I'm also wondering if the razor's edge that Ramana talked about, I think it was Ramana Maharshi, to walk the razor's edge, and it was never really clear to me what that meant. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying that what I'm saying now is correct, but some sort of recognition came that looking from effortless being, and since everything still appears obviously, right, within you,
Hmm.
so everything, the shapes, the forms, the daily life, it's so enjoyable from effortless being that there can be a tiny invitation into, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna play a bit because it's not real anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna enjoy the play, and I won't believe it's real. And before you know it, this little threshold between really seeing it effortlessly
Yeah.
equal hearing and you being one of the characters. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that's not maybe what is meant with walking the razor's edge. There has to be a certain
No,
level of alertness in a way, not
no,
effort. Know what I
no,
mean?
yeah. No, I agree. I kind of recently I've been saying sometimes it's kind of the same as the razor's edge. I like how people say it's like the path to heaven is the straight and narrow. But then the way the mind grabs a hold of that is it says like straight and narrow means that you live like a very like rigid,
Yeah,
mundane life.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not really what it's talking about. It's more of an energetic thing. And I think really what it means, it's just staying with the simplicity. And the
Yeah,
simplicity is like that expansion versus contraction. Because the mind is what wants you to pull you into complexity and like thinking like, oh, do I need to think about this or that? Or like, how does it need to be? Like that kind of thing. Um, but when you just, it really kind of does come down to that difference between does this feel expansive? Does this feel good? Or does this feel contractive? Like, is this pulling me away? Um,
yeah,
and yeah, it's paradoxical because when you're in alignment with your infinite nature, you can actually do anything. Like, there's no real limitations to that. Like, the lower mind loves to, it constantly tries to pin conditions to it. Like, it'll try to say, like, oh, well, you can't be your infinite nature when you're with people who aren't into spirituality, or you can't be in your infinite nature when you're talking to this person, or when you're doing this job, or when you're doing this or that. But that's all actually the contraction, just trying to keep you stuck. And it's very paradoxical. I think that's one of the big distinctions that David makes, that other teachers kind of subtly
Mm.
miss, is they kind of imply that there's something you need to do to get to your infinite nature. And then once you're in your infinite nature, like that's when you're free. But really,
Yeah.
it's the complete other way around. You're already in your infinite nature. You don't need to do anything to get to that. And
Yeah.
actually, if you want to do anything, live from your infinite nature and just focus on expansion. And that's how you transform the nature of experience from contraction to expansion. That's basically how you decline the invitation. Because I think we can also get in that thing of like thinking like, oh, how do I decline the invitation? But you don't even really so much decline the invitation. You transcend the invitation by being your infinite nature to it. It's like not biting that bait of the contraction. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you naturally have challenges and contractions come up. Like
Mhm.
if you're around a challenging person, you may
Yeah.
have like a challenging emotion come up or something like that, just happens. But the key is you kind of have two options. You can react to the emotion and you can kind of go into some sort of avoidance or fear or like clinging or like some form of personalization around it. Or you can transcend the contraction by just being like that isness, like that effortless impersonal being, which allows the contraction to be as it is. It's just neutral. And then in a very strange and funny way, it's like when you're not labeling the contraction a problem and you're just allowing it to be as it is, that's how you transform it. That's how it actually changes. But from there, you're not even trying to transform it, because if you're trying to transform it, you're kind of already in it. You're kind of already in the contraction. But it's like, I do find that that's how you do what David says, like to transform the nature of experience from like a dualistic mode to a unity mode,
Mhm.
basically.
It's the simplest and the most complicated thing at the same time, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
yeah, really depending from where one looks.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'm just saying that also, sometimes trying to explain it to someone who wants to know, and it's, people look at you like, this is, no idea what you're saying. It's really so paradoxical that it's sometimes too simple to get, because the mind is used, especially with really intelligent people. I find the more intelligent the mind, the tool,
yeah,
and
yeah,
how that can become like an obstacle.
yeah. No, that makes sense.
There's this like
Yeah,
this, it can't be this, it can't be so simple, it can't be. And then I find myself searching for words sometimes to try to explain it. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
but to be honest, in like the regular life, if you look at just my job or where I'm working, um I don't ever really talk about it, like even less than before, because it always was
Mm,
interesting to me in a topic I liked, and it was more of the philosophical conversations that I love to have, way way more than nitty gritty chit chat about the weather, or or what people do. What do you do?
yeah,
Where do you live? All of that. But I find that has dropped in some sort of way, like completely.
yeah,
It's really, I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh, and then all of that stuff is fun. Like all the interactions are fun. Like really anything. That's kind of what I meant with just like the authentic connection thing, because that's when you do have that most profound impact on people and you help people to resolve that stuff. Because that's when you're in alignment with your intuition and when you're in your inspiration. Like when you kind of
Mm,
feel like you don't really know what to say, that comes from like personalization and like subtle forms of resistance. But
mm,
like from the intuition and your inspiration, it just feels like being authentic. Like you're just being your authentic self. And that's the best thing you can possibly do. And like that's when you can connect with anybody about anything. You connect with people about the weather, you connect with people about your job, you connect with people about anything. Like it's really uh
mm,
yeah. And I think that's a big distinction for people to see too. Like I think sometimes we associate authenticity, we think that's like the personal mode. But really, anytime you're being authentic with anybody, that's only possible from the impersonal mode. Like,
mm,
it's like, and we all experience that. Like, we don't only experience the impersonal mode after realization, we actually come in and out of it our entire lives. It's
mm,
just so simple and subtle. we don't make that distinction, and we don't notice that that's like the ground of experience. But it's like David says, like all creativity comes from effortless and personal being, and that's true for authenticity. Because
True.
to be authentic is to be creative. Because to be
Yeah.
authentic is just to be yourself, and like the opposite of creativity is reactivity. It's like being in like fear-based repetitive loops. But when you're just being authentic, you're automatically being creative. And like that could be just like how you talk to people, that could be making art with someone, that could be how you make breakfast, that could be how you make your bed in the morning. Like every single movement of life is a portal for your infinite nature, and from there there's no limits. I get like it's really amazing.
True. Very true. It's also nice to observe how many problems have been self-harm, or basically, you know, psychological suffering that has been created by the self, by the ego.
Yeah,
It's
have you
more than I would have thought it would have been in hindsight.
yeah
What?
have you had a lot of like transformation from this? Have you seen like many kind of like patterns fall away and like big expansions happen and
Yeah,
that
for
kind
sure.
of thing?
Like prophylactic worrying, that was like a full-time job. So basically worrying about something before it
Oh,
happened.
yeah, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah, that's a big one.
that's
Yep.
a really, and if you have been doing that for almost all your life, it's a very familiar burden. So you don't feel it
Yeah.
anymore. No, you don't notice the weight. But one thing I noticed is that the back pain is gone. There's nothing in my neck anymore. Something I got used to since my 20s. I was like, okay, this is the body apparently. And, I always have a bit of a, stiffness or sort of pain in here. It's completely gone. And I think that
That's
has
great.
everything to do with this, oh no, what's gonna come next? How can I prepare to, not have it happen or have it happen my way? Obviously, the things never happen the way you thought they would,
Right.
positively or negatively. So it was also useless worrying for a big part.
Yeah.
But also noticing, like, if things happen that could have caused, I don't know, fear or panic or tears or something like that, in the
Hmm.
they pass so quickly.
Yeah.
Like last week we had snow and ice and was -7 degrees, the European. And I was in the car and I really thought I could drive, because there wasn't, on that part there was only a little bit of snow. But I
Hmm.
was on a bridge to leave our house and the car just went left. Like whatever I did, it
Yeah.
didn't go forward or back. It just went to the left, which meant
Yeah.
it was getting close to the water that was underneath. And then it's
Yeah.
like you get this adrenaline, the shock that, and then you do anything you need to do, way more alert than before.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I looked like Mr. Bean together with my husband. So we went into the house and we carried buckets of hot water to just make sure that the car would be freed.
Yeah.
Once it was over, it was over.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
there's some sort of remembering of, wow, in like earlier days, this would have maybe caused some stress the rest of the day, or some nervousness, or some,
Hmm.
uh, I don't know, some fatigue. Some either you
Yeah.
needed a glass of, wine or a hot chocolate or something to just calm yourself down, some comfort food or something else. And that's just completely gone. That's completely, it's like the moment is over. This is the moment. And
Yeah.
that,
No.
it's not practiced. It's not something that needs to be told, like, oh,
Well,
remember, you're in the now, it's past. That's not even happening. It's just like there's no
yeah.
mental story around it that this is how it should be, if you know what I mean. It's just
No,
like
yeah.
in hindsight you think, hey, I wasn't angry, or what? Wait a minute. What, where's the physical reaction? Oh,
Yeah. Well,
that's I
and
know.
and it's like you said, like there can be adrenaline and stuff sometimes, but
Mhm.
adrenaline can actually be used to your benefit. Like sometimes, I mean, if you're in a super crazy life-threatening situation, adrenaline serves a practical purpose. But then the
Absolutely.
key there is too, it's like you can kind of, it's like you, it's almost like fearing the fear. Like, you don't want to fear the fear. Like, sometimes there's a natural fear response of the adrenaline, and that's good. And then it's like the contraction would be if you kind of contract around that adrenaline, and then that actually just cuts you off from your intuition and your inspiration. And that's when you end up doing the wrong thing. That's when you like yank the wheel or something and something bad goes wrong. But the more that you're just in alignment with that isness and you're just allowing whatever comes up to come up, that's when you're able to like just respond to the situation. And then yeah, everything kind of just happens like perfectly. Everything happens in the best way possible. And yeah, I like what you said about like the no residue. That was, I was re-listening to your second conversation with David, and he was talking about that a lot, how that's one of the best parts about this is that you're just totally liberated. It's like you can play any role, you can be with anybody, you can take on any emotion, you can take on any experience, but it's all from a place of freedom and like no residue. Like, it's just you take it on and then you take it off and nothing sticks. Like, it's just complete flexibility to live life on your own terms, however you want, basically. Like, it's just whatever feels most expansive to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Or fun or exciting or calming or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's so freeing. This is something I couldn't have imagined, because something you do beforehand or on the spiritual search is always imagining based on what one has been reading or hearing. Oh, this is how it should be. For
yep.
example, no more thoughts. That was one of the great
That's a
pitfalls.
big hijacking.
Great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
things that are happening, they were never either mentioned or nothing I was clear or aware about, that that's how it would be, how it would play out. So
Yeah.
in some senses, it's even better, I have to say. And then also this I, the owner, the doer, to sometimes play the game of waiting before you respond. Like, do you want coffee or tea? And then you don't respond. And then, you know, and then it's like, poof, it's like, oh, coffee. Like, oh, really? Oh, it's coffee, apparently.
Right.
Those are little nuggets of fun.
Are you talking about like kind of just like letting your like infinite nature decide for you? Is that, do you
Yeah,
mean in that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Play with it, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, so that you can do the automatic pilot. Normally, I always want this, or normally I prefer this to that, and then that's the answer, which is of course
Right.
fine, right? But sometimes you need to let infinite nature answer.
Well,
Just
and
give it a second, and then something comes up, and then it's even more the right thing than it would otherwise be, because then it would be to a glass of wine, actually no, or it would be,
no,
to some sort of food that you would normally eat because it's 12 and you always have it. If you really pay attention, just wait a second. Yeah, I don't know. The body needs protein or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Or
no,
fruits or
I,
discord. Yeah.
I think you're kind of just yeah. You're the way I think I would describe what you're saying is like the difference between kind of succumbing to the old pattern
Mhm.
versus just creating some space to where you can respond from your creative, infinite nature. But I
Mhm.
think it's key for people to see that like your personal desires aren't like counter to this. It's not like, oh, I either do what the personal me wants or I do what the infinite me wants. It's really the whole way that you make your personal desires better and more in alignment and more in accordance is by being your infinite nature to the personal desires. It's like that's kind of like how David says in his most recent call. He said that the most effective way to quit an addiction is to enjoy the addiction all the way. That's like enjoying the personal desire from your infinite nature. Because when you're like suppressing and avoiding personal desires, that's actually a form of contraction. That's a form of like saying like, oh, this is how it needs to be, or like I need to get rid of this. But it's more about just allowing yourself to be as you are, and that's how you authentically like transmute and transform the energy from contraction to expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of, like, for example, not having smoked for many years, and all of a sudden you're somewhere, and apparently at that moment it's the right thing to do, to have a cigarette, and that's it.
Right.
Fully enjoying it. And then the next day I forgot about it totally. Because there was no, oh my God, I smoke, no regret, no sore throats or whatever, or but also
It,
not oh, now I want to do it more. That both were just not there. it's just like, oh, this is what happens. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then no residue, no anything. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big because it's like it's about authentically like graduating past experience. Because if you try to like if you have an urge to smoke cigarettes, but then you think like, oh no, like that's not spiritual. I'm not going to allow myself to do that. You'll never really graduate past that experience. But when you can just allow it, that's when sometimes it's like, yeah, like maybe the alcoholic has a drink, but then from that present place, that's when they have that new inspiring idea. And they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I don't even like drinking. Like this kind of sucks. Like and they just move on. Like and then or maybe they continue to have drinks here or there or something, but it happens in like a healthy and responsible way. Because that's the whole thing is like addictive and compulsive behavior that's driven by the fear and the reactivity and the contraction. But when you're in alignment with your infinite nature, you really don't do anything in a destructive way. You can just do anything you want, but it never really turns into a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Rami. I've probably seen dozens of hours of your videos with David. Like you're kind of like a David celebrity to me, honestly. Like I've seen a lot of the calls. Like they're really really good. It almost feels like I've talked to you before. I think just
Oh,
because
nice. What the feeling? Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
your interactions so much.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I think it all had to do with the book that David was really excited about. He really liked it, that I would,
Mm.
that, you know, the book would be written. So that's also why we had some additional talks just about chapters or topics or things that came up. And then before you know it, you have another conversation of 3 hours or so.
Yeah.
It was more like a, by accident, but it was really, yeah, beautiful. But also
I
they are
really
unscripted, it's just, you know, free flow. And then, yeah, whatever came out of it, came out of it, which was really, really nice.
and now are you doing the Enneagram book? Are you working on that?
I didn't start yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's I like that you're interested in that. I think that's awesome because I think that goes into exactly what we're talking about. It's kind of a deeper level of integration is like embracing the personal side of things and like
Mhm.
realizing that that's not counter to that because it's
Yeah,
so easy to get in that like kind
yeah,
of dissociated mode where we're like, oh, the person's not real, so none of it even matters. But really, it's like the person is, I mean, ultimately nothing's real, but in a way, like you come to know the person even more from your infinite nature. Like that's when the Enneagram is even more useful in a way. Like it's
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So
yeah.
the only thing I'm waiting for is like with Peace at Last, it was really, I was driving the car and then I almost had to, you know, pull somewhere to the side and stop the car to write down a sentence or a chapter or a topic that needed to be written.
Hmm.
That one, I'm still waiting for that to happen. So I don't want, you know, the classic old me to write the book. It will
Right.
be spoiled by it being written through, if you know what I mean.
Just from inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm just, but I already feel like the ideas are bubbling up, or what we
Yeah.
also discussed in the group, which is so beautiful, our WhatsApp group that we have around effortless being, to when I have the time to also have the interviews with people to find out the Enneagram type, and then the idea is
Yeah.
to write a bit before and after. And I know that's all relative terms, of course, but I really think it can be even more personalized.
Yeah, exactly. That's yeah.
To read about your own personal ego, how it appears, your own vehicle, your own avatar, and by that discovering also the hidden things, the blind
Mm,
spots of the personality that are normally not seen, and then also reading about how it looks, so to speak, after realization, because
yeah.
the preferences of the Enneagram type, it's nature, not nurture. They will always stay. So some people will always prefer to be with people and they prefer
So
to be alone, but others will always will also love to be on their own. They have their own me time. you
Is
know.
the Enneagram at all connected to like astrological things, or is that kind of its own separate?
It's really so interesting. I had a colleague of mine who was completely into astrology,
Yeah,
and we didn't make the time for it, but we were planning to find the connection there because it has to be there. And it's not a
yeah,
simple one of Leo is this and Virgo is that,
right.
because that never works. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you can immediately see type
It's
7 is
well,
not linked to the.
and and you have both Eastern and Western astrology, which have their own systems too. So it's like,
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think if you take the whole thing into account, like I don't know the terminology so well, but the houses and
yeah,
the
because you have
oh
12 different houses,
yeah,
I think, which each have
yeah,
their own planets and they have their own
exactly.
alignments. So
Yeah,
that probably would fit into
yeah.
the Enneagram in different
So this is
ways. Like,
yes. Yeah,
yeah,
I really think so. Yeah. That's actually
yeah.
an interesting one as well. It's a very interesting angle to dive into.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have recognized that, like, you find all kinds of variations of that, like just with the different archetypes of humans, that's the same sort of thing. Or there's a lot of those different kind of like personality structure, like types of things that people have formed. I know like
Mhm.
the gene keys is one. That's one I kind of like the gene keys. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's a similar sort of thing. I think that's almost a combination of astrology and the Enneagram. I think it kind of because it incorporates astrology, but I think it was made by a guy named Richard Rude, maybe. But it's a similar sort of thing. It's basically like it's like it kind of points out your gifts, your shadows, your like different sorts of like potential pitfalls, different like life path sequence types of things and like that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I think that kind of thing can be really empowering and it's really encouraging because I think it kind of gives people the clarity, like you said, to like recognize that stuff. But then it can be empowering knowing that like, yeah, like you can transmute it, you can transform it. Like you don't have to just be stuck in like the shadow version of you. Like there's another side of that. And that can actually be enriched and like enthralled by this infinite being stuff. Like the infinite being doesn't have to mean like, oh, none of it matters, so I'll just stay in my shadow forever. It's more like you get the best of both worlds. Like it's it's kind of like David says, like 100% man and 100% God. Like you're getting that like 200% experience of life. Um, yeah.
That's yeah, but I'm also thinking, you have the seven deadly sins from the Bible. They all come
Hmm.
literally in the Enneagram. So every
Oh,
Enneagram type has their own vice or their own
okay.
plus two that somehow dropped off the wagon, right? Because we have nine Enneagram types and there are only seven sins. So deceit and fear are two extra ones that are in
Mm,
the Enneagram. But what I also find, not that you have to know anything about the Enneagram, but just as a small example, you have a type 7 called the enthusiast, and their vice is, how you call it? Gluttony.
oh yeah,
Gluttony.
that makes sense.
However, in my experience, when I see self-realized sevens, it's
Hmm.
abundance. It's a,
Or
so that's also something I'm trying to do in the book, is to find what it is. Like, what's the translation of the deadly sin into a more
oh
exact term, which still describes the type, the vehicle, the avatar,
yeah,
without the burden of the personalized ego or device, however you want to call it.
yeah.
And I just find there's something there. I haven't completely pinned it down or nailed it yet, but there must be something there. For
Yeah.
type 1, it's perfection, for example. So they get very rigid. You know,
Well, it's
but maybe serenity is the other side of the coin. Well,
uh, something that might like help with that I think is really similar. As how David says he talks about how the invitations they kind of reveal the inverse of what the invitations are saying to you. That so that's kind of what you're saying. It's like the
it's
inverse of being like a glutton. It's like and it's kind of like the hijacking, like the shot. If like if
wow,
being a
it's
yeah, if being a glutton is like the shadow, it's like, in a way, it's a hijacking, because the whole reason you would be a glutton is because deep down you're feeling into this possibility of this massive enthusiastic expansion. You're feeling into this super like enthusiasm, but then that enthusiasm is actually getting hijacked and redirected against you in the form of like some form of like contraction, to where it's like keeping you in that shadow. But then the higher side of that is when you kind of overcome that hijacking, and you, yeah, like I think you totally get what I'm saying. Yeah,
It's the inversion. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
you're right. Oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I love how you said the seven deadly sins, because I love the word sin means to misstep. That's really what the word sin
Yeah.
means. And that's what it, to go into contraction is to misstep. It's to step the wrong way. Like, and that's like what happens when something gets hijacked. It's like, if we're a glutton, on one level we're feeling into something that's true. We're feeling into the possibility of that massive expansion of unity, but then it's getting misstepped, it's getting hijacked into contraction, into
That's it. Yeah,
and yeah.
exactly. Wow, that's incredible.
Or and that happens with everyone too, because there's definitely general sorts of themes, but you can't fully box people in into like just one thing, because we can all have experiences where, like, a big one that pretty much every spiritual person falls into is the hijacking, where, like, even like what I said with David, it's like you'll be feeling into something which is true about like David's teachings or about some big spiritual truth, but then the mind will try to hijack that and to invert it into getting you to actually cling to something which inverts that, which turns it into contraction. um
Yeah.
so yeah, that can happen with anything, for in any way. And that's the essence I find of most contraction. Like, even when we do something that's contractive, it's never that it's all bad. It tends to start with a genuine inspiration. It's like the
Mhm.
same as like, when I was talking about, like, if I, like, before, when I would have the urge to share spiritual knowledge to someone, but it wasn't quite the right moment. It's like you're feeling into the truth there, but then it's getting hijacked against you into actually using the spiritual knowledge for contraction. And that's
It's brilliant in a way. Yeah,
it's exactly what the demiurge wants. Like, it's like,
exactly. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's also a brilliant creation in a way. That's a
It's
wow.
I mean, it's genius. It's
It's
really good.
genius. Yeah.
But it's the ultimate training partner. Like, it's really,
It's,
it's like, because that's a big,
it should
it,
invoice us what it does. So
yeah, because that's the big one too, because that's another hijacking, is we can start to think, well, oh, the demiurge is this scary external thing that's out to get me, so I need to like be afraid of it. But that's another, that's you biting the bait of the demiurge. Like, really, ultimately, the demiurge is within you. Like, everything is within the infinite being, and nothing is really out to get you. It's only out to get you if you take on that perspective, if you take on that context. um
yes.
and I mean, it is true though. I think that's why the word demiurge is really important, because it makes that distinction that the shadow is not really just simple innocent bad habits. It is a kind of strategic intelligence, which is very strategically focusing on maximum impact. Like, it is doing everything it can to create the heaviest contraction possible. Um, but that's not a personal thing. That's really just an impersonal mechanism. That's just what it does. It's not like it's targeting you in a way.
Mhm.
Like, it's kind of just like, it's like an angry toddler that is like just
Yeah.
smashing buttons and like trying to like it's trying to find resolution in a world in which it can never find resolution, because it's looking for that transcendent like
Mhm.
resolution. And that's kind of, I think, like it's lacking the element of love. It's lacking that element of unconditional love, which is the isness. Like, it's
Mhm.
intelligence without that. And that's
Mhm.
insatiable. That's never ending suffering, basically.
No, indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had an image of a rat or or maybe a cancer, which also just does its thing. It just does what it does, you know?
Exactly. It's
Eating,
impersonal. It's
growing, it's cancering, it's retting, it's in a way it's demiurging.
yeah,
It's
no,
just what it does. Yeah.
ex- or it's almost like, I had one buddy say, he says it's like it's just like a virus in a computer. Like it's just like a
Yeah.
messed up piece of code that is just like creating destruction, but it's really not a personal thing. That's just what it does. That's like that's
Yeah.
that and that's all it knows. And
Yeah.
you can kind of have a lot of empathy for it in a way. It's like, because it's, when you really look at it on that relative level, the contraction and the invitations, it's all about conditional safety. Like when we attach to various things, it's the body or the lower mind, it's trying to keep you safe in a way. Like it's trying to manage safety on that conditional level. It's like when we attach to certain spiritual teachings, it's projecting that safety outwards and trying to like find safety in that. But it can never find that which it's looking for, because it's looking for that unconditional. It's like the character on the movie trying to find the screen. Like the character can never find the screen, and like that's like the wheel of samsara. That's like the, to enter samsara, to enter illusion, is to do that. But then the beauty is to be in the world but not of the world. That's when it's like you're both and you're totally free,
Yeah.
and you can enjoy both. And
Yes.
yeah,
So true. Such a blessing, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, well, if really it's not though. It's a shame that we've gotten to this point to where we think that being in touch with our infinite nature is a blessing. Like that's the foundation of what life is supposed to be. That's why, in a way, like this world is, it's not really God's world. It is a kind of world that has been like hijacked, or it's like Ramana Maharshi says, it's an overgrowth. Like
Yes.
it's not supposed to be a privilege to be enlightened. Like enlightenment is what you are. That's the foundation of a happy life. Like it's like it's not supposed to be a big deal. Like
No. Do you think there are other like dimensions or timelines that this is really like a prison planet? Have you
yeah,
ever? Yeah.
I mean I think that's what this planet is, but
Yeah.
I don't want to make it like dark and
Mhm.
scary. But yeah, I think that's what this planet is, but it's all opportunity. I think that's why we came here, to transmute it, and it's so much fun. Like, because the whole thing is, the deeper you go into contraction, that's the bigger way for you to ride into expansion. Like, it's
Yes.
so fun, and it's where the greatest opportunity is, because like the heavenly astral realms, those are fun and stuff, but they're very kind of, I feel like it's a lot of, you don't have the diversity that you have in the human realm. The human realm is so diverse, and it creates for the coolest opportunities, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And for the greatest inner growth, because it's like we said, it's like that ultimate training partner. Like nothing will transform you and level you up faster than Earth. Like Earth really like you, it's because if you can be in touch with your infinite nature in this place, nothing's gonna stop you.
No.
Like,
No.
um,
And it's
yeah,
also a thing that the moment that stage, every word doesn't make sense, but I'm just going to speak it anyway. But the moment you have reached what you just said, that it really doesn't matter what happens, right? Because it really, really doesn't. Shit also stops happening in a
yeah.
in a really weird, like
It's
the moment it really doesn't matter anymore. Life, even from the perceived outside, gets better.
it's
And it is still
and that's
comprehend how that works.
That's what I meant. That's what David calls transforming the nature of experience
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
contraction to expansion. And that's what I meant. And you described that so well in that conversation you just had with Beverly,
Mm.
with the Byron Katie quote. You said, just when you think life can't get any better, that's when it gets better. And that's like when you think it can't get any better, that's really that's when you're not subscribing to the resistance and the judgment of the contraction, and you're just allowing challenges to be as they are. And then in that very strange and magical way, that's when things open up. That's because what it is it's like they say, like what you resist persists. Like when you're
Yes.
resisting the contraction persists. But the whole way that you transform the contraction is by going to that isness, that like transcendent neutrality or effortless impersonal being. And from there, you don't even care about the contraction in a way, but it's not caring in like a negative, apathetic way. It's just that neutrality. And then in that very strange and magical and beautiful way, it's like David says, there's space for the infinite love and the infinite intelligence to make its way into your experience. And that's when you have resolution. That's when you have progression and you have transformation. And everybody has experienced that. That's the mechanism of all progression. That's kind of what I meant when I was saying, like, people think you only access effortless being after realization, but it's not really true. Anytime you progress or have resolution in anything, that only happens from this. That happens because the causal layer, the causal body, that's what transforms anything. And that's also why you'll have some of the most advanced humans in the world, some of the most integrated humans in the world know nothing about spirituality. And then you also have some humans who know a ton about spirituality, but they're very disintegrated. Like being, you can be very, very integrated and not even be self-realized by just, because really, like, following your infinite nature, it just feels like following your highest nature. It feels like following what feels right to you. And lots of very high level humans already intuitively do that. Or they'll do it, it tends to be with the very high performers. They'll do it with certain things. Like maybe they'll be a master at their business, but then they're very integrated around that, but then they'll be very disintegrated with relationships, or they'll be very disintegrated with like health, or like we tend to be very integrated with certain areas of our life, but then we're very disintegrated. We have a lot of contraction around other areas. And then we snag around the other areas. And then we almost become addicted to the areas that we are integrated in, because that's where we're getting all of our relief and respite. And that's when even those greatest strengths can turn into like some sort of like hijacking and problem. But from realization, it's like David says, like that's like the switchboard of consciousness. That's when you can integrate everything, and you can not only have amazing relationships, every single layer of your life can be amazing. Like literally the whole entire thing can be nonstop expansion, basically. Like, and it's unreal. The mind can't believe that, but that's really what it can be. Like, yeah.
Also, the absence of problems is so something very unusual in a way. Like I also noticed that one of the main topics that also connects people, it's like a social lubricant in a way, is to share problems, right? From the past, something traumatic, or at least currently something that's going on that's not to your liking or that should be different. And then when you really look deeply and you can't find anything, and it's
Yeah. And it's
one.
that one's funny because that's a hijacking too. That was my strategy my entire childhood, because I had a huge amount of social anxiety, and I for some reason I noticed early on that if you complained about certain things, that would sometimes make people laugh. So I was constantly I would try to relate to people by like complaining about stuff, and it was funny because it was a hijacking, because I had a sincere, authentic desire to connect with people, but then that was getting hijacked by my lower mind into saying like, oh, you need to focus on negativity to connect with people. And then what would happen is sometimes that would work. Like sometimes I would make people laugh, or I would have a sort of authentic connection. But very quickly it turned into this thing where nobody really liked me because I was so negative and I was so contracted. And anytime I was with anybody, I would just be like, oh, like this teacher sucks. Like, don't you hate this person? Like, da 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 da. And like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you see it like that, it gives you a lot of empathy for people, because you realize even when people complain, in a way, it's coming from sincere inspiration. Like that's the root of all of our misactions. We're feeling into something true, but it's to varying levels, it's getting hijacked and distorted, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Transforming the nature of experience one is big for people. That's kind of why I keep going back to that, because that's what everyone is missing. People are getting stuck in these kind of apathetic modes where they think that you kind of have to sit around and wait for things to get better. But that's not
Mhm.
what it is. Like ultimately, you are the one controlling the whole thing. Like if you keep having contractive invitations, it's because you keep
Mhm.
going into that contraction in some way.
Mhm.
Like when you're living from your infinite nature, your life very quickly transforms and transmutes. But it's paradoxical because from there, you're not labeling anything a problem. You're not saying you need anything to change. You're not resisting people. You're just allowing everything to be as it is. Um, but I find that that's a big thing that people are struggling with. But David talks about it a lot. Like he talks about it a lot in your guys' conversation. He talks about like transforming the nature of experience. He talks about how you can go into any of the coaches consciously whenever you want. You can slide your scale up and down and to like enjoy whatever you want all the way. Um, but I think a lot of people, it's like David is so subtle and he's so direct and precise that like
Yes.
90% of what he says just goes over people's heads. And that's happened to me a lot too. Like it's so easy to just miss like the details of what he's saying.
Mhm.
But and because it's the lower mind like trying to hijack things like I think the lower mind is terrified of David. So
Mhm.
like the lower mind is trying to muddy it up in any way it can.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think once you see that primordial mechanism of transformation, you're really fully liberated because you really never like there's no contraction after that. I mean, there's a never-ending unfoldment where you become more and more aware of subtler and subtler layers of contraction. But
Mhm.
when you understand the mechanism of progression itself, you really just progress your entire life endlessly. It's like unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
and I know that probably sounds crazy for like to people, but like that's really what it can be. And that's what the manifestation people have clued into. Like the manifestation people are right. Like when you change your energy, your life does change. But what the manifestation people get caught up and stuck in is they're doing manifestation within the confines of a fear-based context. It's like
Yes.
they're taking on a belief that like, oh, there's something wrong with my situation. Like I don't like my financial situation. So I'm going to try to manifest a bunch of money to fix that. But like no matter how much effort you put into that, if you're doing it from that root contraction, you're in the wheel of samsara and it's not going to create real transformation. Like the real manifestation and progression happens through that transmutation of energy, which only really happens from the causal body, like from the body of wisdom.
Mhm.
But you have to actually do it. Like you have to actually live that, like you, to 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 have the transformation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also it's so difficult to find the right words because every word is immediately has within itself its opposites, or it's difficult to speak without personalization. But I mean, yeah.
Well, and that's a big one I find the lower mind hijacks is that it tries to freeze up non-dual people into thinking like, oh, you can't say I, or you can't say this, or you can't
Yeah.
say that anyone's doing this because if I say that, then I'm not enlightened or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like. And I was
yeah.
kind of in that in my conversation with David. I kept using like the third person thing because I was kind of trying to separate Zane
Mhm.
from this, and that can be useful, but you really
Mhm.
don't have to do that. And because the thing is, it's never really the words that matter. Like what matters with words is the energy that you have behind the words and like what that word invokes for you. So like
Mhm.
first like the word me could invoke the sense of the infinite being, or it could invoke the sense of like the small contractive you, but it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be like you don't have to adhere to any rules of
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
The Advaita police.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, I just connected that to my cat, for example, that will also react to her name, but there's no risk that she thinks she's Mia. Like, it's everybody knows except humans, apparently.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of, yeah.
Well, and it's like they have the full clarity of like separation and um like the cat under like in a way like the cat understands that the cat is the cat in a way. Like the cat has the sense of boundaries and physical separation
Mhm.
and like all of that. But the thing is, like, none of that is counter to this. Like from non-duality, like even separation is non-dual. And like the separation is only really a problem when it turns into contraction, basically. Like when it turns into um because some separation is good, like some
Fun.
separation
Yeah.
is useful. Um, like, yeah,
Yeah, the opposites attract, playing different roles, uh, having conversation with someone. I mean, or even a relationship. It wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't be any fun if there was no separation or no felt sense of separation, right? In a playful
exactly.
way to feel the difference, warmth, cold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoever thought of it did a good job.
yeah. Well, it was our infinite being. So
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know.
yeah,
But it's really, yeah, the infinite possibilities. It's just so true. It really literally is that. Infinite
yeah,
possibility. Anything can be there. Anything can happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. So how's it for you now in your like daily life with plans and tomorrow and later on? Did that change at all? Is that the same?
The a big thing is just goes back to that self-referral thing, because before I would kind of get in this mode where I would be like, oh well, David kind of says that you should never have plans or something, so I'm not allowed to have plans. But nowadays it's just much more normal, it's much more human. It's like I have simple ordinary normal plans. It's like we plan this call, like I have stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
um but it's just for me it's more just having that like total flexibility. It's like simultaneously I can have plans, but I'm also kind of just always in touch with that ultimate spontaneity, because there's just no attachment to outcome, or no clinging to anything.
Mhm.
um it's really kind of just like every day is kind of just like an adventure, like let's just see what'll
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
yeah.
And I just follow my inspiration. And like, yeah, I make plans for certain things. Like all kinds of plans are practical and useful. Like you want to have
Mhm.
plans, or maybe you don't. Like that's the whole thing. Is like maybe you want to never have a plan again, and you can do that from your sovereignty.
Mhm.
But uh, yeah, like it's yeah,
Yeah. I also find there's less or almost no looking forward to or dreading to things. Like I don't look forward to weekends away or vacations anymore.
right.
It's
Yeah.
just,
Well,
oh, it's now. Oh yeah, we're going on vacation. And it's just this, it feels the same as non-vacation. I mean, it's not,
yeah,
what I mean? Or maybe I'm also maybe the planner in the head is a bit worse than before, but in a way that's also a relief. So everything is really in my calendar and it's just there. But I completely I maybe I remember like today and sort of some things that are happening tomorrow. Everything else is gone until it happens. It
yeah,
used to be
yeah,
different. If I'm just looking at, like, or in a sort of comparison way. And it's also a lot of weight that's just lifted. Everything you had to keep in your head. This will happen, this won't happen. I hope this goes like this. I hope that won't go like that. And
yeah.
it was so
Well,
much mental effort and just I don't know how to say it. And that's just gone. And it's
yeah,
whatever needs to happen, it just appears. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that was
yeah.
scheduled or
Well,
this was going to happen. Kind of
and
nice.
yeah, and you can look forward to things in an inspiring way. Like it's not like you need to take on a position of like, oh, when you're really enlightened, you'll never look forward to things. Like if it feels inspiring to you, it's great to look forward to things. It's just like you said, like it's with none of the fear or the attachment. Like because a lot of times when we look forward to things, it's like we're subtly resisting the present moment. And I think that's
Correct.
kind of what you're describing.
Yeah.
But from here it's just like that total freedom. It's like sometimes, yeah, like I mean I was looking forward to this call. I would like
Totally.
I look forward to all kinds of stuff. Like if I know I'm hanging out with my cousins on the weekend, like I'll look forward to that. But that doesn't mean that I'm enjoying the present moment any less. It's actually both. And I can enjoy the present moment even more uh, by being inspired by what's to come.
Yeah.
Like it's that total like freedom and flexibility.
Yeah.
And it's different for everybody. Like that's what's beautiful about it too. Like none of us have to fit into some box, because that's what the lower mind loves to do, is to be like, oh well, Rami says that she doesn't look forward to things anymore, so I'm not allowed to look forward to
Yeah.
things,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
on Rami's level, because that's what everyone is doing with David, and that's what I was doing with David for so long. But like that's the hijacking. That's like the mind trying to outsource your sovereignty to someone else. But like the beauty is you follow what feels right to you, like what feels inspiring and intuitively right to you.
Mhm.
um, and that's the yellow brick road that leads to the most amazing things. That's the return to the Garden of Eden.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're right. It's from my point of view, it's just like an innocent observation that I'm sharing.
Yeah,
There are certain things that you mentally notice were always like that, are different now. And
yeah,
which, and it's sort of interesting just to hear yourself say it, because it's
yeah,
easily observed. But you are very right. It maybe could be seen as, oh, this is how it should be, because that's exactly what I used to do as well. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
disclaimer, that's not the case at all. Absolutely
yeah,
not. And for others, they may be even more enjoying by looking forward to what's coming. You know, that might
yeah,
be, that's manifestation. That's how it may appear, of course. Yeah, for sure. I
yeah,
want.
yeah. It's just the practicality of life. Like it would be tough to live a normal life without any plans ever. Like, and I'm sure you do have plans with like how we plan this call, but it's like
Yeah.
and I know what you're saying, but yeah, it's,
It's just,
I
it's not
let
weeks or months that what it used to be. You know,
yeah.
that if you did something 2 months from now or three, that was kind of, oh yeah. And then you keep going back and forth to, this will happen in 2 or 3 months and whatever. Do I need to do
And
something there? That is just not there. And that's not good
yeah,
or bad. It's just the observation that that's what is seen. Yeah.
exactly. And there's none of the hijacking, because sometimes it's like we'll genuinely be looking forward to something, but then that can get hijacked to where we get anxious about it. Like we get anxious about what's to come. But from
Yeah.
here, it's like if you want to look forward to something and it feels good, you can enjoy that all the way with none of the hijacking, like none of the fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it's yeah, just that total freedom.
Mhm. And also the expectation is frustration. That was also usually true, right? Almost always a certain event, party, holiday, whatever. If you've made it really big in your mind, indeed, because you were not enjoying the present moment, so it was like, oh, a couple more weeks and then this will happen. Then it usually
Yeah,
resulted in sort of disappointment, right? It was just
yeah,
exactly what you were envisioning or hoping for.
yeah. Well, yeah, because when you cling to outcome, it's like you almost never get the outcome that you wanted. But then when
No,
you're not clinging to outcome, you usually get an even better outcome than
more
you could
than,
have.
yeah, 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 yeah,
You reap way fuller
yeah,
fruits.
yeah. That's inbuilt. Like it's just built into the experience, and that's again something that amazes me. How
And
how
that's
how is it even possible?
that's related to what I am talk like with the transforming the nature of experience, because attachment to outcome is contraction, but when you transform that to expansion, that's when you get those better outcomes. That's when you get the progression. That's when
Yeah,
like the job gets better or the relationship gets better or like whatever it may be usually.
yeah,
But it's paradoxical because again, there's no attachment. Sometimes it doesn't get better, and that's fine too. It's
yeah,
like, and yeah,
yeah. It's things like that the personality wanted to have a certain reassurance. This is something that's just very common for many people. Like you
yeah,
want to be assured that your boss still likes you and doesn't want to fire you next week, or that your friends still appreciate you, things like that. And that is also a funny one that you can sometimes see popping up. But
hmm
and then there's this immediate like, but who wants to know really? Like, or this is a little demi-urging tugging on my energy. Let's not feed it now. And it's just dropped in that moment. And who you are and what you are is still fully there, has always been there. doesn't change at all. But then just that realization, because you observe the whole thing before, during, and after, and the observation that without that thought, without that problem, and also having done nothing to fix it because it dropped,
Yeah.
and then the realization, like, wow, there really is no problem. There could have been,
Yeah.
there was a little, however we may want to call it, it's usually like a residue indeed, or something,
Yeah.
that pattern that has been built. And then obviously that also has a sort of reaction or sort of force in the so-called outside world, because
Hmm.
without being arrogant, but you come more across um, like someone that is just
When you're seeking
oh,
approval, no one wants to give it to you. But
no,
when you're comfortable with things
that's
as they
right.
are, people
Yeah.
feed you approval. That's like,
Sorry, that's where I was going. That's
and
where I was going. Yes.
and,
Yeah.
and
Right. Yeah.
that's related. I mean, in a way, like that's it makes you way more attractive. And a lot of people have noticed that to varying degrees. It's like when you're chasing someone, they don't really
Mm.
want you. But then when you stop chasing them, a lot of the times that's when they chase you. Like that's like a common
Yeah.
relationship dynamic people will have. And that's true for everything. That's kind of the essence of manifesting. It's like if you're chasing money, you're kind of perpetuating your own lack of it. But
Yes.
the more you find abundance rate where you're at, or the more you find contentment in the relationship rate where you're at, that's when you tend to get that progression towards expansion. Like,
Hmm.
and it's like that Byron Katie thing, like right when you think you can't get any better, that's when it gets
That's true.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it's a universal law, and
Yeah.
it's nothing less than that. It's literally that. It's a universal law. Yeah, I really see
And
that.
yeah, and that's what I mean by that like mechanism, that primordial mechanism. It's basically expansion versus contraction. Like another way of wording what she's basically saying when you stop clinging to contraction, expansion is what happens, and that's universal law. And that makes a lot of sense. Like when you stop contracting, you expand. Like
Yes.
that's like
What else? Yeah.
it's like pretty clear.
Yeah.
Like
But you're right about the inversion and the upside downness of things, because everything we're describing, you're completely right, is normal. That is status quo. That is how it is, how it should be. And somehow it has been turned upside down, that the opposite feels normal. And the few glimpses of this feel like, whoa,
yeah, yeah, it's
what
like
the hell? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
it's
Very
yeah.
good point. Really good point. It's not special at all. This is really just a regular
And
state of being.
that for me, that's why for me, it actually took me a long time to really clearly understand David's expansion thing. Because for me, when I heard the word expansion, I think this can happen for a lot of people in the 3D world. We
Mhm.
almost imagine expansion as like this big like explosion of energy. We imagine it as like more energy, and like so I kept thinking like expansion would be like I'm gonna be in this super high like electric like
Yes.
crazy blissed out state. And you can kind of get to those, like those can happen, but that
Yeah.
doesn't happen through more energy. It's actually through less energy, like going to your infinite nature. It's about like relinquishing the energy. And so for me, like a big thing was realizing that expansion and subtleness are the exact same thing. Like the more
Mhm.
subtle your energy becomes, that's the same movement as expansion. And that makes sense because like the opposite of subtleness is like grossness, like darkness, heaviness, contraction, density. But the other end of that is like subtleness, openness, expansiveness, lightness. And so for me, it's really useful to tune in to subtleness, like
Yeah.
because sometimes the invitations can almost be so subtle, it doesn't even like feel like effort in a way to go into the contraction. Like it's just like a very, very subtle sense of heaviness or something. But
Hmm.
focusing on the subtleness, I think, can be really big for people because that's the movement. It's subtilizing the energy, and that's how you access the more spiritual states, like what unity consciousness or like any of the really heightened spiritual states are. It's just when your energy is very, very subtle and quiet and still, and when you're not clinging to any sort of like gross, heavy, contracted type energy, that's when you're subtle enough to be able to cognize the more subtle experiences. And the more subtle experiences are like synchronicity, intuition, inspiration, telepathy, precognition, humor, beauty, like basically all of the amazing stuff. But the
Mhm.
degree to which you can cognize those has to do with the degree to which your energy is subtilized. And that's why
Mhm.
when we're clinging to the grosser energies, when we're clinging to resistance or something, we don't get those very subtle, heightened experiences. But when we let go of those and everything just becomes more like quiet and still and as it is, that's
Yeah.
when those kinds of like very heightened qualities bubble into the experience. And then that's what David calls the ascending qualities of effortless being. But it's paradoxical because the base of it is just neutrality. And from neutrality, you're not chasing anything. You're not chasing the subtle experiences. It's more just allowing everything to be as it is. And then that's when you do tend to get those very expansive moments, like a big like manifestation or synchronicity or like transformation. Um, and it's even so much better from that end because you're not even expecting it. It's like just a gift. It's like just pure like opportunity, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not at the expense of anything or anyone. It's really,
exactly.
it's just abundance. It's
Yeah, yeah. Like a lot of times I'll say like this is actually the most profitable thing you can do. Like, but it's not profitable in like a selfish way. It's what's most profitable for everybody. Like,
like,
and it's
yes.
not really profit in terms of money. It's a much deeper profit. It's the profit
Yeah.
of fulfillment and like true like freedom and like there is nothing worth more than that. Like that is like very palpable and like and that's what
Yes.
you really want. Like when you chase money, you don't actually want the money, you want the freedom.
Yes.
Like you want the
Exactly.
like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah.
The sense of not needing anything at all, not wanting
Yes.
anything. It's just so delightful, so incredible. It's always there. Like, it's, yeah,
And
it's nothing to do with what you have or don't.
and knowing you'll be taken care of, like knowing that you can really
Yeah.
trust that.
Yes.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. I used to see it the other way around because really some sort of pattern in my life, and that I had it with my mom as well. Like, single mom, two kids, never enough money. And what she always did as well is if there was something, some money, would spend it right away on nice things
yeah.
before the bills came, or something that would mess it up. And it's something
Mm-hmm.
that I somehow carried into my regular life, like after when I was an adult, so to speak, which was
Mm-hmm.
anytime there was a windfall, like anytime I got something extra for some reason, there was a
Yeah.
leakage or the car broke down. Like immediately, like within 1 or 2 days, something happened in my nice stuff where I thought, now I can do something for myself, had to be used for a repair or something else.
Yeah.
In hindsight, this is like still taken care of.
Yeah.
It's just that the money came a bit before the shit
Right.
happened.
Yeah.
But that's also something I only realized afterwards, a bit later, like you are always taken care of. And that's for
Yeah.
my
All
Enneagram type something very hard to grasp because that Enneagram type is like fear-based, anxiety-based, and it's kind of almost if too many good things happen, you know,
yeah.
the scale is out of balance. Where's the second shoe that will drop? Like something
Yeah.
bad has to happen now, which is
Yeah.
something you can probably manifest if you really believe it. So, and
Yeah.
that's very cool. It's very relieving that that one has dropped. That's not there anymore. So that's just a appreciation of what happens and what just comes at the moment.
What what
It's
is
yeah,
what's the kind of like enlightened version of that? Like the opposite of the shadow. Uh,
yeah, courage. This is
courage
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
oh
yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And courage, not in like necessarily, you know,
Yeah, like
storming the
a
battlefield, but courage, this deep sense of everything is okay.
yeah,
Full stop. Everything
yeah.
is already okay. This piece of knowing that. And then it looks maybe to the outside like courage because nothing really scares one anymore.
Hmm.
But it's not,
Yeah, well, yeah.
not like, wow, look at me,
It's
I'm very
it's
brave. It's not that. It's more like a quiet, subtle.
it's kind of like I said, we think it's more energy, but it's actually less energy. Like we
Yeah,
imagine being courageous as like, oh,
yeah,
like big
yeah, yeah.
me, I'm so, but
And
it's
dopamine
actually
and ooh, yeah.
rather than big me, it's more like no me. Like who is there to be afraid?
That's right. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's yeah,
But that also in turn calms down everyone around you. Like if everybody else
Mm,
is freaking out or scared, or maybe there's something at work which is always relative, like how bad is it if you don't make a service level or you don't reach the targeted sale or whatever the KPIs are that people play with at work. But if
yeah,
also there, it's just this, it's not caring, but it's just this calm,
yeah, and
whatever it is, it's, it's gonna be fine. Bring it on. Let's see. And for some reason, I got this image before when you were speaking about there was a study done, I think. So I read about it, that if people that had been a millionaire, for quite some time, they had built something for themselves,
mhm,
they lost everything. Within 3 years, they had it back.
yeah,
It's just something like, yeah, like
it's
self-fulfilling. I don't know what. I
yeah,
know this is how I am. This is how I work. This is how I don't know what it is. And the opposite also seems to be true sometimes. Like many
yeah,
people that won the lottery, they end up totally miserable and
yeah.
broke. So I'm not sure why I have to say that, but this just came up like an image to mention.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I,
And
I,
I think similar. Yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
No, well, I love what you described about like your experience at working because that's kind of exactly what I meant with the authenticity thing in a way. It's like by you just being your authentic, fearless self, and
Mhm.
not from a place of, and I know you obviously don't do this, but like the shadow version of that would be kind of trying to project like a courageous self from like fear or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
from the other end of it, it's just effortless. It's just you being authentic. You're just being in touch with your authentic self. That's when you have a very profound impact on everybody around you, but you're not even trying to. It's not like you're trying to like go around and be like, oh, I'm courageous because I know there's no self. And so let me tell you why
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like,
No,
it's
no,
just,
no.
you just radiate this like peace and this
Yeah.
tranquility that is extremely attractive. Like, people are naturally gravitated towards that. And that's actually their own intuition. Like, that's their
Yeah,
intuition
yeah.
being like drawn towards that. And yeah, it's just beautiful because it's like you have the most profound impact just by being yourself and just following
Mhm.
what like feels right to you.
Yes, yeah,
Like, and it's
yeah.
less energy, it's less work, it's not more
Yes.
work, it's less work. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There can be still a tricky part of it in terms of how to communicate, because you and I can talk about it and we get what we mean. But
yeah,
it like the job that, for example, that I'm doing, where this is a totally unknown topic, completely like alien and not even interesting to most, right?
yeah.
Try say, if you're the director of the department and you're saying, I, I have no clue yet. It hasn't come to me yet.
Well, yeah.
Not
Well,
everybody can deal with that. It's also not something I'm
well,
doing, right? That there's a bit of a careful
and
calibration
and,
of when you can and cannot say it. But this is where I find the language sometimes a bit.
and what can happen is you can just develop that ability to be even more and more flexible where you can just respond to them how you know will work with them. Like if you know that that person, that like telling them you don't have a plan doesn't work, you can, from your freedom and flexibility, you can craft a little plan or something to appease them. Like if that's the
Mhm.
most like
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
expansive
You're right.
option, like it's like you really there's no limits in terms of how you can kind of like develop and unfold this, and you can be authentic with anything. Like that doesn't have to be like coming from an inauthentic way. It's really, in a way, it's about having deeper empathy. It's about
Mm.
empathizing with people exactly where they're at, because if someone's not in the place to understand what having no plans, like if someone's not in the place to value that, it's almost not very empathetic to just kind of tell them like, oh well, this is how I see it. Like it's almost more empathetic to be able to like feel into their perspective and to kind of meet them more um like where they're at. And that's like been a big thing for me with like my grandma and my family members and stuff, like that kind of dynamic.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. But then, I mean, you can speak all the different languages, so that's then what. you know what I also do. I know
Yeah.
the business lingo, and you know what to say to make
Yeah.
people, confident and rest assured the things will be fine.
Exactly.
It's just an
Yeah.
inner dialogue I was sharing with you that that is where there's some censorship is happening in a way, in a good way, right? That it is that instead of saying I have no idea, I have no clue, you just say something else. But within you feel I don't see I'm it hasn't come up yet what will happen in 6 months, but it will in
Right.
it, and it's
Yeah.
kind of exciting and nice and fun to go
Yeah.
through. But in a way, sometimes it would be kind of nice to share a bit, It would be nice if you could,
Yeah.
someone would be like, oh yeah, get it, But
Yeah.
who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe on a non-verbal sort of way or manner, people already feel it as well. That
Yeah.
it's but yeah, I think we had this conversation also a lot in our app group, that people said what I'm doing currently is probably not what I have been sent to this place for to do. I don't know what I should be doing, but it's probably not whatever the job or the profession is.
Hmm.
That is something that I hear quite a lot, that people are struggling a bit. Like, should I quit my job or not? But then, how am I going to pay the mortgage? That's an interesting one. That's on the one hand, the maturity is there to be open to do what effortless being wants to live through you.
Hmm.
But then it appears like there is a delay in the outside world, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
That the one is not there anymore fully, but the new hasn't fully arrived, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then feeling responsible for family or something like that, having to pay the bills. That is something that I
Yeah.
quite a lot as well, um, which is always right. It's fine in the end because you
Yeah. But
but you do commit, and you took a certain job, you're getting paid for it, so there's also a certain role, I think, that is okay to be playing there. But I just feel that the energy is a bit different if you don't believe it anymore. It's energetically different.
yeah, for
No.
the context that I like to take with that, I like to take the context that the work that you're supposed to be doing is exactly what you're already doing. Because I think that's another prime hijacking. And that was one I was in for a long time, what kind of like with even like my YouTube channel, like I would be thinking, oh, well, like what I'm really supposed to be doing is like, I'm supposed to be doing this, like spiritual teaching, or I'm supposed to be doing this or that or that. But then I was kind of like projecting that into the future, and then it was cutting me off from being
Yeah.
fully present with exactly where I'm at. Um, but then
Oh
the
yeah.
thing is, when you can actually fully embrace exactly where you're at and you're not resisting anything, it's again, it goes back to that Byron Katie quote. That's when you get genuine transformation and progression. But if you're taking on some sort of like hijacking or like fear-based context where you're saying like, oh, well, David says that my highest purpose is to be a spiritual teacher. So I shouldn't be doing the job that I'm doing. I should be
Mhm.
doing a spiritual teacher. So I'm going to go after that. If you're doing that within the confines of a fear-based context, you're already
Yeah.
in the contraction. You're already in the wheel of samsara, and that's just
Yeah.
going to keep you like repeating patterns. But
Yeah.
I find that the real progression happens in just embracing exactly where you're at. Like you can transform any experience, and literally every moment of every day can be
Yeah.
blissful. Like it's not really about the content. It's about the energy that you have around the content, which I think is
Mhm.
exactly like what you're saying. And yeah, like it's not like no one's perfect at it right away, but that's kind of the refinement that happens is we just relinquish more and more of that resistance or more and more of that contraction, and we find more and more peace and presence exactly where we're at. And then
Yeah.
that's when we tend to get more
Exactly.
progression and
Yeah.
transformation and like all of the best things basically.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that can
And
be
it's
very helpful for people listening. Yeah.
yeah, and it's perfect that way because it's like that's such a prime hijacking is thinking like, oh, well, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be doing this higher thing. But then as soon as you're doing that, you're taking on a resistance to where you're at. And it's like, and it's so elusive and cunning because it's taking something that you love and know to be true. Because the thing is, it probably is true that like like you have huge potential to do something way past KPIs and like that kind of thing. But like if you're resisting that, you're going to keep finding yourself led back to that. But when you have no resistance to that, that's when you tend to get like that progression and transformation. Like it's like, yeah. Or at least like there's some form of inspiration which leads you to something else. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Cool one.
Yeah.
Is it cold in the car actually?
I have my car running. I have the heat going
Oh,
a little bit, so it's not too
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we have here, can I switch it? We have a little bit of snow here.
Oh yes. Oh wow.
Yeah. This is my park that I walk at every day.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
very
my,
interesting when you do the videos.
yeah, I like live out here. Well, I have a home. I don't live out here, but like this is like my second home.
Yeah.
I might spend like 4 or 5 hours out here a day. A lot of the time I'm just out
Okay.
here talking to people,
Yeah.
hanging out
Great.
with the animals.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have
Yeah.
a dog or anything yourself?
What'd you say?
You have a dog or something?
My grandma has a cat. My grandma,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she has an
Oh.
old cat. And so like yeah, I'll hang out with the cat some, but the cat's hers. I can't take the cat from her. That's hers.
No, 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 no. Would not be appreciative of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have any other animals other than the parrot?
Yes, 3 cats and a dog.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Are you
yeah.
more of a cat person or you like all of them? Or
I love all of them. I always knew,
yeah,
like when I was a child, also like when I'm grown up, I will probably
yeah.
live with pets or animals, etc. I always have been a cat person,
Hmm.
but having yeah, having dog now is also this unconditional love is something else.
Yeah,
That's
cats
just
can kind of be conditional with their love a little
yeah, 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 yeah. It's it's just day and night, but I mean you have to love both. Really, it's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
cat's this arrogant sort of yes, you
It's
may
kind of awesome. It's
oh cool, yeah, you can feed me now, thank you. 5 minutes late, and but okay, I'll forgive you, and you may pet me now. Oh, stop, enough, next. I mean, that is just, it's so amusing, it's so funny that their little weights and their personalities, and the
I
dog is
wonder.
more like, I love you, you're the best, and they're so forgiving also. So it's unbelievable, you know.
I wonder if you could fit them into different enneagrams based on different
Yeah, I
animals.
think you can. I think you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dog might be like enthusiast or something
yes,
along those lines.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Usually, yes. Yeah.
Like yeah, because I guess you have different dogs too. It can be,
Yes,
but
exactly. There is the Enneagram video that an Australian lady uploaded like 15 years ago to YouTube, and then
mhm,
did everything about Enneagram. And even the Wayback Machine, I couldn't find it. Like, yes, pictures, but no more videos. And
yeah.
just like 2 months ago, she uploaded everything again, and she made the link between it and non-duality, which
Oh
is
wow,
so funny. Unbelievable. It's really Claire Cherikov, I think is her name. And she made an Enneagram dog movie. I can
wow.
send it on WhatsApp if you want. And
Yeah.
she just put the different dog uh, breeds into Enneagram types.
Mm.
It's hilarious. It's so funny. So yeah,
That's
makes sense.
that's such a beautiful example of following inspiration because for a lot of people their lower mind after they have realization may try to be like, oh, doing enneagrams for dogs, that doesn't seem very non-dual, like I should be doing some
Yeah,
sort of but
yeah.
really like that's one of the coolest
Why
things
not?
ever, like yeah, why not, like
Yeah,
do whatever you want, like, and it probably brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. Like it's
yeah,
like a
exactly.
cool,
Exactly.
like
Then one of the breeds couldn't be a dog, the achiever type 3, that had to be a cat.
oh.
So it's really, it's so, so cool. Yeah, it's very funny. So
That's
but that's
good.
also playfulness indeed. Yeah, that then also picks her head up, the playful, creative, fun, and still
Yeah.
has a value to people. Like even though it was just made out of, out of a why not?
Right. wish you luck with the Enneagram book. Like, that's exciting. I
Yeah,
think that's like perfect. Like, keep following like that inspiration, and like,
yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Like, that's cool. I haven't actually read your first book yet, but I definitely want to. Like, it seems pretty cool.
Nothing new, obviously, for you, but it's just sometimes different words that kind of give a jolt of joy if you read them and you're like, oh, I didn't call it that yet.
Yeah. And well,
That's
and it's
kind of
just,
what it is now. But
it's inspiring to hear people's stories and stuff. It's
yeah, yeah,
cool
yeah,
to hear.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Really, I really enjoyed this as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was good. It was cool.